Alright, this is a reflection on unrealities. I've been dropping them steadily, but there have still been a couple, well, namely one unreality that I kind of decided to drop now, but it's been so hard to drop. What do I mean by unrealities? So let's just take sugar, okay? Sugar messes with your natural signals for satiety. The feedback from life doesn't kick in because you're dealing with that unreality. And that's just what I've found with unrealities in general. There are so many of them. I'm going to list a few that I can think of off the top of my mind in a bit. But basically, the lesson here is that when you make the decision to grapple with reality, to contend with reality, you get the feedback from reality. When I am living with my own truth, my own subjective truth, with reality, staying with it, not trying to escape it, not trying to run away from it, then everything lines up. I get all the feedback from reality. Things get dialed in, things stay on track, and I feel good inside. And then when I interact with people, loved ones, people close to me, family, and so on, then I'm able to respond to them properly. I'm able to avoid addictions because there's that feedback from reality. I stay on track. It's when I try, but the thing is, like a long time ago, I read this book by Alfred Adler. That it was the pivotal book in my life. It's called Social Interest by Alfred Adler. There was this one phrase I memorized from that book. It goes, when you cannot solve the problems of work, love, and community, you limit your sphere of activity to where you can be assured of success. Okay, so growing up, I could not solve those problems of work, love, and community. So I limited my sphere of activity to chess. Chess was the one place where I could pretend that if I was superior at chess, then all these other problems would get solved, that people would like me. I would get their respect, their admiration, their love. But what I found over time was that even though it worked to an extent, even though I got their admiration, even though I became super successful as a chess teacher, always there was I felt like a fraud. Like I myself was, it didn't feel right inside. Like I remember all those weekends I would go play chess, blitz chess in downtown, and I would be killing it. I would be beating people in blitz chess, like dispatching people one after the other, nonstop all night. But then when it was time to go home on the SkyTrain, those were some of my most miserable, most depressing. So depressed I was taking the train home, because then all the people who had been clubbing downtown, all those people who had been having fun with their friends, innocently, like without trying to be superior to anybody else, those people, they'd be laughing and making merry, they'd be drunk, they'd be happy on the train, and I'd be sitting there basically in tears. Basically in tears, depressed out of my mind because I wasn't fitting in. I always had the only excuse I had, the only way I had to fit in was to try to be better than people, and of course that never worked. It just never worked. So that was an unreality that I was keeping in my life. This chess was one, right? And keep in mind here that people will say everything is an unreality. What isn't a game? What isn't unreal? And so my point isn't here that you should not engage in unrealities. There's always a time and place for them. These days, I don't try to destroy anything. I think the right way is always just to create more abundance. So it's not that don't participate in unrealities. I'm not trying to destroy anything, not trying to discredit anything. If there are people who play chess, like the professional chess players, who even if they never won another game again, they would probably keep studying chess because they love it for its own sake. So if you're going to engage in an unreality, do it from that standpoint. If it legit fits your version of reality, like if you think it really is worth playing video games, getting good at them, whatever, then by all means go for it. But the problem comes when your own conscience, it just doesn't feel right inside. You're only doing it to win. And that's how it was for me with chess, because the only reason I was studying chess and engaging in chess, playing it, was so that I could win and get something from winning that game. It wasn't any kind of inherent worth that I found in the game. And anytime you do anything for that reason, whether it's to make money or to win a game or to gain, the only reason you're doing something is to gain victory out of it, to gain money out of it. If you do anything in your life for that reason, I've found it always goes awry. Because then anytime something comes up, anytime you fail, you get injured, inevitably something will fuck up, and then someone who was doing it for its own worth because they found it intrinsically worthwhile, they will keep going with it. They'll survive the injury. They'll keep going past it. But when you're only there because you want to get a paycheck out of it, or you want to win it for some reason, get admiration, win the game, whatever. Like, if you're only doing it for that reason, then when shit doesn't is you aren't quite making the progress on the timeline that you imagined, then you feel like a double failure, because not only did you fail at the thing, but the whole time you were investing time that you could have been putting into something else that you actually did find worthwhile, like the opportunity cost. So it's a double whammy. Not only did you lose, but you also lost on something else that you could have been spending your time and effort on, and that hits too deep. It's then you're living with self-disappointment. And I found through all of my life, the main trigger for all my binging, for all my addictions, everything has always been self-disappointment. Whenever I feel any kind of self-disappointment, I binge. I'm shitty to the people around me. And so anytime I do any activity just to win it for some external results, I'm setting myself up for a deep self-disappointment when I stop winning, which inevitably, at anything in life, progress is not linear. It's up and down. So then you're going to feel that self-disappointment, and then you're going to be shitty to the people around you. Okay, so what are some examples of these unrealities? Okay, so chess was one for me. Sugar is one. Like, you don't get the feedback from reality when you're having processed sugar because this natural satiety doesn't kick in, right? Um, and here's one that people will be up in arms about, but working out. Working out is an unreality. That's one of the hardest ones for me to give up, because as someone with body image issues all his life, it messed me up to lengths I can't even describe here. So my whole hope in life was like, someday I will look so good that I will no longer have this anxiety. I will look so good that that I will no longer have this anxiety. And of course, anxiety was my reason, my excuse to not get good at solving the problems of work, love, and community, because I could always just defer it, like sure, I can't cook now, or I can't go wash my car outside or whatever, because I have all this anxiety. It was always a crutch. It was always an excuse, because it got harder and harder. The more you put these things off, the harder they get when you grow. Because then as you get into your 30s, and man, you don't want to be fucking trying to get good at the things that you should have learned when you were 18 or something. Yeah, because then it's embarrassing, and then there are no rewards. Then you just look like a fool. Even if you're doing well at it, why are you doing this as an adult? Why are you trying to go pick up girls as an adult? The timeline is not right. You should have done this when you were 16 or 18 or 20s or some shit. Why are you making all these decisions now? So you don't even get the approbation that you would get when you're 20s for doing that shit in your 30s. So you don't want to be doing that shit in your 30s. So what happens is you put it off longer and longer and longer, and you put all your stock in these unrealities. Like, hey, you know what? Sure, I could not do all these things, but I'll just try to look good. Someday I'll be a model, or I'm gonna work out and have a six-pack, and then I'll get out the girls, and then I'll make the money, so on. So even looking good is an unreality, I found. As someone with body image issues, that was one of the last unrealities I had to give up, because if I truly let go of looking good, then what's left? What gives me my worth? And man, I had to really think about that and come to an answer, because I go outside and if I'm bald, like, I don't know if you guys see my other videos, I shaved my head and I was trying to be okay with not looking good. I've done that twice in my life. But truly, if I go outside like that and I'm bald, I'm fat, I'm ugly, and I also suck at life. I also cannot fix my own car or change my own tire. I also have no money. I make minimum wage. I've got a criminal record. I've got whatever the fuck else is going on. Where the fuck is my worth coming from? And man, and it's like, if I make this decision to truly live with reality and embrace all these things I suck at and try to get better at them, the problem is, you're gonna suck. I suck. Like, this is something I have to deal with every fucking day. I suck at everything I do, because I've been putting it off for my entire fucking life. And now I don't even have that crutch that I'll be good looking or something to make it all worthwhile. I have nothing, no crutch. There's nothing that gives me worth now. So then where does my worth come from? I had to solve that for myself. And I did, okay? But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is that there are all these another unreality is self-aggrandizement. Like pursuing just propping, like making this immortality project, like this vanity project of becoming the most you can be. Like we have all these unrealities in our culture that take you away from the feedback of life to the point that you just don't grow anymore. So like I'll give you an example. Weston on YouTube. I even look up to this guy. But these days it just doesn't do it for me anymore, because I realize maybe he's doing it because he finds inherent worth in getting up every day and following his routine and working out. But what is the message there? It's that he doesn't have worth unless he has a six-pack and he works out. So yeah, I never answered that question, like why is working out an unreality? Because the truth is, when I go to my job, working out for hypertrophy, for looks, for big muscles, it actually makes me less strong at work. It fucks me up the next day, and it keeps me from giving it my all on the job. And these days, it's my discipline, my religion, I'm grateful for the chance to leave it all on the table at work. Like I've been practicing holding nothing back, like, because I realized when I lost my millwright career that I lost everything with it. Like career is so important, especially as someone trying to put his life together, that I cannot be taking chances with my career. And I'm grateful for one chance in my life, one place in my life, my job, where I get to push my capabilities. I don't want to go too deep into this shit right now, but I take a satisfaction from leaving nothing on the table, like nothing left unspent. Like that job, that day is my workout for the day, like the job itself. And when I work out outside of, because recently I got injured. I was a scaffolder, and then I did something stupid in the gym, and I injured my shoulder, and I was out of work for months, and it hit me so hard. I was depressed, out of my mind, going into debt like crazy. Finally, I'm getting some shoulder mobility back, functionality back, and I'm in working random construction sites with the employment agency, just doing cleanup and shit. So at least I'm back to work in some capacity. But like I said, when you're only there to win the game, when you're working out just to look good or something, and then when you fuck up, like you get injured, it hits doubly hard, because now I fucked up my real job. I can't even work, and I failed at the working out itself, and so it's like you just feel like a double failure. Like not only did you fuck up at that thing, but you also fucked up. There's an opportunity cost, because you also fucked up whatever else you could have been doing, like doing well at my job or whatever. Then you feel like a double idiot, you know? So, and the other unreality I forgot to mention that I had to quit is shows, watching TV shows, because every day I would go home from work, and I couldn't even put it, just every day I had to go home from work, and I was looking just to escape life into the TV shows. And so for like decades, or like a decade at very least, I didn't learn much. I didn't grow. I realized when I cut out shows, I would naturally get bored, naturally curious, and then I would be looking on YouTube for how to fix things or cook things. When I'm taking a shit, I would be on Google Maps looking at the map out of curiosity, like what are the roads around me? How do I get places? What is the local geography? Like the natural curiosity kicks in, the natural feedback of life kicks in. But when you're always escaping life through these unrealities like TV shows, you just never, it can be a decade can pass by and you didn't learn shit, because every day you went home and you were trying to escape life, and you never learned about anything close to you, like how to cook a meal or whatever. How the fuck am I gonna take care of my kids when I can't even cook a meal? So I've been escaping life for so long through addictions and TV shows and God knows what the fuck else. I don't want to waste any more life. I just do not want to waste any more life, man. I wasted my entire 20s. I prefer not to engage in these unrealities. And the thing with TV shows even is that because I was looking to escape as soon as I got home, I would try to sedate myself, because the only way I can shut off, because in a natural state, when I feel good in my body, I don't want to watch TV shows. So I had to sedate myself, like with a large pizza every night, or two Ben and Jerry's ice creams and so on, to the point of giving myself insulin resistance and whatever, fucking myself up. I had to sedate myself so I could check out of reality and just watch shows for like 5 hours straight every day after work, you know? So by giving up shows, I also gave up binging, because now it felt shitty to have binged, to sedate myself, and then I can't even watch shows. Then it's just a shitty feeling. I would rather have my energy so I can move about and do things. So by giving up shows, I actually gave up binging. Like it's like everything just lines up when you ditch the unrealities. All the feedback of life comes back, and it becomes way easier to just stay on track with everything. But the thing is, it is a very tough decision to give up all those unrealities, because if you have been putting off getting good at the real things of life for so long, then if at, let's say, age 30, you decide to drop it all, ditch all the unrealities, you have to wake up to that harsh truth that, man, you fucking suck. You suck. I suck. I could not cook. I didn't have a job. I had a criminal record. Like, I hadn't traveled. I had no experiences. I just lost my ex. Still living in my mom's. Like, I had to wake up to all that shit, man. All the shit I'd squandered. I'm living here with an injury that I myself, self-inflicted injury that keeps me from doing my career. All this shit, right? And I think I don't blame people for using unrealities to deal with that mess, because I mean, there was this famous anecdote, like in Rome or something. They were going through a famine, and they were just playing games all day to keep their minds from eating. Like there is a time and place for unrealities. If you're in prison, yes, go work out, get jacked, because what the fuck else are you gonna do? You have to find some way to build yourself, right? To indulge that part of yourself that wants to build yourself and grow. You have to do something. But when you're back in reality, oh man, reality hits different. Like you have to follow your own conscience. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, this was kind of just a reflection on unrealities versus realities. Some are really hard to give up. Like I'm telling you, man, as a guy with body image issues, giving up that unreality of trying to look good as an excuse to not work on the regular things of life or working out and stuff. I'm tired, man. Yeah. Hopefully I made some sense in this video, man. Yeah.